we do at GPA is we put our clients in the best possible position to succeed. And one of those things is a personalized mobility program. And so I wanted to share this with you guys and show you exactly what I personally do on a daily basis to keep myself healthy and why I do it, and just so you can apply it to what you're doing and get a lot of value from it. So let's get this started. So the first thing I do is I get inverted. I hang upside down. And how I do this is with these teeter hang-up boots. So you've heard of inversion table before probably. These are the same thing. And so I hang from the bar upside down for about 5 minutes total. Right, so getting up into this position is very technical. If you do end up getting these boots, watch exactly how I get up there. So I'm going to grab the bar, I throw my legs up, and I clip myself. Okay, I have a bent knee whenever I do this and bent arms. So it's not as much weight I'm having to throw myself up. Now I slowly lower myself down, let my hands reach all the way down. And so how I know I'm really tight right now and I'm compressed is the fact that I usually can touch the ground. And you see this gap in between my arms and the ground? I'm usually able to get probably this much of my finger to the ground. So that tells me I'm pretty compressed right now. And that means that I definitely need to be hanging for 5 minutes. And so as I hang, so I can't reach right now. So my first thing is I just hang for a minute and get myself used to the position. And then as I hang for a little bit, I'm going to start to just rock, just very slightly from side to side. Just very, very slightly. And so once I rock from side, so you're gonna see it's gonna get a little bit more aggressive. And when you first start doing this, do not be too aggressive with this. You should just hang for the first month or so you do this. But as you get more advanced, so you can start to rotate from side to side. And this is really gonna just release all of this. It's getting an extra little bit of gravity into each side of your lumbar. And so now what I like to do is I put my hands behind my head. I try and get my body neutral, and then I go a little bit more. And you're just gonna rotate side to side. You're gonna feel whenever you go neutral, a lot more in your lumbar region, side to side. So we go about a minute hanging regular, 2 minutes, rotate side to side, 2 minutes, like this. And so whenever I go to get down, what I'm gonna do is I walk my hands up my legs. So what I'm gonna do is I come up, I grab my legs, I walk myself up, and I grab the bar, and then pull myself down. Next, I move on to, this is what most people know as the wall stretch, mainly for our hip flexors in a knee flex position. So most times when we are tight here, it ends up stemming down to our knees, and most times when we're tight here, it stems to our lower back. So this attacks any lower back issue, any knee issue, and any hip flexor issue. So we're all about maximizing our effort and our time, and this is something that gives us a huge return on investment. What I like to do is take a bench. Most people, when they start, you're gonna have to want to start on all fours and walk one shin all the way again. So you wanna make sure this whole shin is touching. If it's not touching, you're not in a proper knee flex position, thus not gonna have the great stretch that we need here. And so most people, this will be good enough. When you have a bench right here, you're getting a good stretch. But what we want to be able to do is take this foot, plant it to the ground. And then we have this bench in front of us to hold on to. For most people, you're going to literally be in the biggest sweat right now because of how intense this is. But your goal should be to be able to come all the way up like this with a neutral belly, act like you're gonna take a punch, and be able to have heel to butt, okay? But I do this all the time. I do this once or twice a day. So for you to get into the position is not gonna be, it's gonna be pretty difficult. So what you wanna do, you're gonna hold on to here, just hang out. And you're gonna sink your heel to your butt, and then sink forward. Sink your heel to your butt, sink forward. And then as it loosens up, you're gonna put your hands up. Sink your heel to your
butt, sink forward. Okay, and once you do that about 10 times, here's the next step. Okay, this is getting pretty advanced, all right? You getting into this position and doing this is what the most important thing. But now, I like to move on to getting a lot of range of motion in my hips. So I keep this knee flex position, and now I'm going all the way down onto my forearms. I'm just requiring a lot of hip range of motion, okay? So I'm just hanging out here and breathing. I'm hanging out here for about 15, 20 seconds. And so then, what I do next is I come up, I take my inside hand, and I wrap it around my leg and grab the side of my foot and sink forward to pull my chest up. So I'm just hanging out here. You're gonna really feel this all through here. I'm not gonna use all the anatomy terms because I don't wanna confuse you guys. So I'm gonna tell you where to feel it. So you're gonna feel it all through here. So arm wrapped around, chest up. About 15 to 20 seconds, and take your arm back around. Now you're gonna walk your hands out. Okay, you're gonna feel this a lot more in your hip flexor. Walk your hands out. Walk your hands back in. So now we grab our bench, we come all the way up, and we focus on belly, and we reach all the way overhead, just releasing our whole front side. I sound like a yoga instructor right now. So right here, now we're gonna turn to one side. Don't crack your back. You're trying to feel it through here. So here, then we turn the other way, and then we repeat that whole process on the other side. All right, so now we release through here, here, here. We're gonna now focus on our piriformis and our glutes. Okay, and so now we're gonna do that through the pigeon stretch. Okay, so I have a box here that's about hip height. This is like your bed at home. And I'm going to show you. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your foot, come up like this. You're going to roll it on its side. You're going to come forward. And you're going to sink that knee down. So what we want to focus on, can you come over here? What we want to focus on is a shin straight across. If you're getting knee pain when you're doing this, increase that angle right there. Okay? I don't get knee pain, so I can focus on this straight across. And what we want to do is feel this all through, we should be feeling this all through here. Okay, that's where we want to be. We're just going to hang out here for a second. And you can also, so we hang out here for a second and then we kind of fold over. Each one of these positions about 15 seconds. Then you're going to kind of fold over one side. And then fold over the other foot. And so now we're gonna work on some internal rotation of the hip. Okay, so we're gonna have our foot here. Now we're gonna roll that foot over and turn that leg in. So this is a range of motion we rarely ever get, and you're just gonna feel this all through right here. Okay, we don't get much internal rotation of the hip ever in life. So this is a good position to get into. And make sure we don't get too much torque at the knee. We're more pushing down with the hip rather than pushing down on the inside of this knee right here. Okay, so every position, 15 seconds. Now I'm gonna go into a stretch for my Achilles and my ankles. We live in a society where we wear very high-heeled shoes, which causes a tightness in our Achilles. Okay, and so what I like to do, I wear Converses, so I don't really have to worry about it as much. But I try to minimize the pressure I put on my Achilles. So you can see my foot can move around in my shoe really well. There's a big amount of pressure, but I also like to put it through range of motion on a daily basis. So what I'm gonna do is get a nice little stretch, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm pressing against something about hip height, and so I have a bent knee, and I'm just rocking from side to side.
Oh, some nice calves.
You get a flex and show them off. Just rock side to side. So what you want to do is go about 20 each way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to do 40 total. Just rocking side to side. You're going to notice it's going to loosen up over time. If you have very sensitive ankles, go slower. You don't have to. You can even do a stagnant stretch where you're just holding like this. Okay, just make sure you're not being violent like crazy with it. Be gentle with your ankles. So our next stretch is going to be moving into a Cossack squat. So we're just gonna focus on really releasing the inside of our legs. Okay, so what we're gonna do, get to a nice wide stance, both hands on the ground, and we're focusing on rocking to side, keeping this foot, we're not gonna turn it out like a duck. We're gonna keep it almost forward, rolling this foot over. Really getting nice through here. Nice stretch through here. Now we're gonna walk our hands nice and slowly the other way. You notice I'm turning this foot over. If you leave it up, you're not gonna get as much of a stretch through here. Now rock side to side. And as you go, you're gonna try and pull your chest up a little bit more. Chest up a little bit more. Okay, you're gonna go each way 4 times like this. Okay, and then once you've done 4 times, you're going to turn your toe up like this. Okay, you put your hands behind you. And what you're gonna do is take one hand, one side of your leg, one hand on the other. We're gonna get some internal rotation. You're gonna try and touch that knee to the ground. So you see, this foot is flipped over. Hand back up, come back up. Now we walk to the other side, toe up. One hand on one side of your leg, one hand on the other. Touch the knee to the ground. If you get any sensitive feeling in your knee, do not do this. This is a more advanced move, okay? Come back up. So we go do that 2 times each way. So now we just go side to side in a Cossack squat. 5 each way. So you might be thinking, Zach, I cannot do that. There's no way I can do a Cossack squat. I don't expect you to, okay? So what you can do instead is hold on to a bench or something low like this, and you're just gonna get in that same stance and rock side to side. Do the same thing, you have something to hold on to now. And you're gonna do the same thing, but just holding on to this. The last thing of my lower body routine is we gotta get to a squat, an actual squat. And so this is gonna be more targeted for the hamstrings and our hips, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get into a somewhat wide stance. We're gonna grab underneath our toes, okay? And so now, we're grabbing underneath our toes, and we're gonna use our toes as anchors. We're gonna sink down and pull our chest up. Okay, so we're right here, then we come back up, shoot our hips up, back down, back down. So we're doing 10 of those, okay? And once you've done 10, you can kind of hang out here, say a few prayers, and rock side to side. So you're gonna go 5 each way, 1, 2, 3, so 10 total. And then, this is what we're gonna do next. We're gonna take this inside hand, pin it against this knee, and we're gonna rotate the other hand. Okay, so we're gonna go 10 of those, 5 each way. Okay, and then once you've done those, you go 10 squats. All right, so if you're thinking, Zach, I can't do that. I can't even do a bodyweight squat. I can barely sit down in a chair. How can I go through this range of motion? Okay, what you're gonna need to do is you need to find something that you can hold on to. Something that's about hip height, okay? So what I'm gonna do is come around the other side of this bar. I'm gonna use this as my anchor, okay? So I'm holding onto this right here. I'm gonna get into that same squat position that I was just in. And you're gonna hold on to this, and you're just gonna sink down and use this as your anchor, okay? Just hold on to this. I want you to get comfortable in the bottom of the squat. Say you don't feel comfortable, say you're like, there's no way I can get back up. Sit down, and then get yourself back up, okay? We need, hip range of motion is king, and if you just be very careful and get into a very deep squat, it's okay, and do not try and force yourself to come back up. And so what you can do is hold on to this, sink down, use it as your anchor. And so say you feel comfortable, like, Zach, I can only go here, that's fine. Just get yourself into a squat position. All right, so that is my daily routine for my lower body mobility. It's very, very, very important. I'm somebody who had a major hip surgery that ended my college basketball career, and I've been battling lower body injuries my whole life. and this is something that has kept me pain-free for the past 2 years, and it's no question, I do it every single day. And so I hope you guys learned a few tricks here and there on how to be healthy and feel great and be able to train hard and make sure we stay injury-free. If you are dealing with any of these issues, give these a try and let me know how they turn out. So if this video has helped you, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. We're going to be giving out more of these awesome videos, and we're going to be coming out with an upper body tutorial video, well, upper body mobility tutorial video as well. So be on the lookout for that. And if you know anybody that is in pain, make sure to share this video with them and see if this video will help them get out of pain. So thanks as always, thanks and God bless.